I promised two people I would see Nolan's Odyssey with them, so I just got back from seeing it my second time. I think we've been bamboozled. I think I've figured out Nolan's Odyssey. Have you seen the movie The Prestige? I'm going to talk to you like you're an intelligent person, and I'm going to give you spoilers, so click away if you need to. The Prestige is a movie in which it's about magic. There are magic tricks. And then in the end of the movie, you find out that there's been a trick. You've been tricked the whole time. It's sort of Nolan's thing. He does the thing that the movie's doing. Here's book one of the Odyssey. 24 books in it. This is Lattimore's translation. Tell me, Muse, of the man of many ways. The Greek word is polytropos, something like that. Poly, many, multiple, tropos, ways, turns, many turns. He's a man of many turns. Odysseus is a man who takes many turns in his journey geographically, but he's a man of many turns in his mind. I kept wondering, why is Nolan making these strange choices? He's an intelligent man. Is this Nolan in the decline? Is he declining mentally, or is this Nolan in his mature years telling something confidently? I'm now inclined to believe the latter, even if I don't like all of the execution. I thought, man, why none of this seems historically accurate at all. The costumes don't look like any historical period, and they just look bad. If anything, they look like modern America. Why is a dialect modern America? I don't feel like I'm being transported to ancient Greece. I feel like I'm in 2026 America. Why? The arbitrary diversity. Is he just chasing Oscars? I started to get frustrated. Maybe he's doing that, but I think there's something else going on. Why do the sets, why do the locations look more like Iceland than ancient Greece? None of this seems to be the world of Homer. Why is it so dreary? Homer's book is full of life and humor and wit and joy and color and flavor. Why is this movie so dreary? I think I know why. And when you see it, it's so obvious, it's like a dad joke. It's like the movie is a Trojan horse. On the way home, I've been trying to think of ways to say this to you, but think of faces. This has an obsession with faces. Like Tim Burton has an obsession with eyes in his movies. This movie, in my second viewing, I couldn't unsee it. An obsession with faces. Polyphemus's distorted inhuman face. Helen of Troy, desecrated, defaced. Menelaus was willing to deface Helen. Why? I thought, why did he do this? That's not in the book. Why would you torture someone for whom you fought a war? Why would you deface that beauty? She's scarred. Circe's palace isn't a palace. And I thought, why is it a hut? The second viewing, it became obvious. It's a hut built in the ruins with these old pillars of what was a civilization. And in the foyer is the face that's been cast down of a god. The suitor says, we need to kill Telemachus, and he says, cut off his nose. Cut off his ears too. And then Athena, I'm going to treat you like an intelligent person here. I wondered if this was another nonsensical atheist take on the gods. I really liked the movie Troy, but I made a video about where are the gods. The movie is contradictory about the gods. They don't seem to believe in the gods, and yet Achilles in that movie, Brad Pitt, says, I've seen the gods. Then why do you defy the gods? That's nonsense. If you believed in the gods, you wouldn't defy them because of the consequences for you, your family, dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow, dishonor on your whole family. Was this movie doing the same thing? And if so, it's so unoriginal, it doesn't seem like Nolan. I don't think that's what it's saying. This isn't a Feuerbachian. Feuerbach was an old dead guy who, if you've heard atheists say you believe in a sky daddy, your God is an imaginary figure in the sky, in the clouds, your little sky daddy. That's the stupid person's version of Feuerbach, who thought that essentially God is wish fulfillment. This is Freud, this is Feuerbach. Guilt about, ancient wrongdoings, the murdering of the father, and we project these wishes or these guilts onto the heavens. and we invent this father figure in the sky. Is Nolan doing that with Athena? Why is Athena in Odysseus' head? In the book, she's certainly not. She's a real entity. And then you see this twist at the end. Athena, as he sees her, is Zendaya. Why? The goddesses, the statues of Athena don't look like Zendaya. He sees Zendaya. Why? Because the priestess of Athena was beheaded, and he sees her as Athena. Here's the rub. It's so simple, and it's all throughout the movie. When Zendaya was beheaded is the moment that Athena was beheaded. When the human was beheaded, the god was beheaded. When we lost the god, we lost humanity. When you lose the one, you lose the other. Civilization in this movie is literally burning. It's portrayed as burning. 10 years of rage outleashed on Troy, 10 years of rage in one night. And then when Agamemnon gets home, 10 years of rage from Clytemnestra, his wife, unleashed upon him in one night. The movie says more than once, at least twice, all that is sacred, the sacred bonds between humans are lost. It has to be restored. Because if you lose humanity, you lose God and vice versa. I wondered, Nolan, why did you do this to Calypso? That is not Calypso. The symbolism is deep in this movie, but in Homer, the women represented something different. They're powerful figures who represent temptation for Odysseus, this powerful feminine energy. And these women are opportunities for him to enjoy a life away from his wife, away from Penelope. Calypso forces him to stay. Circe seduces him, wants him to stay. Nausicaa, the princess, offers him a life in a happy kingdom with a young wife and the approval of the king. And Calypso says, if you knew what awaited you, you wouldn't leave me. You would stay here. How is this going to end? These are the sirens. That's just temptation to the flesh. Even the sirens are different in this. And I think I know why. Circe is not a young, attractive woman that wants to seduce Odysseus. I wondered if this was just straight feminism, but I'm no longer convinced that it is. There's a book about Circe, I believe, that is a feminist telling that she had been raped before, tragically, and she was waiting for that to happen again. That is sort of implied in the movie, but it's believable. But the problem is, the difference is she doesn't represent temptation for Odysseus to live a different life with a different woman away from his home. She represents something else. And it's so simple. I was in the theater taking notes in cursive in the dark. So Calypso says, Odysseus says, I don't want to know the truth. The sirens psychoanalyze him, which I thought was stupid, but now I get it. Calypso says, give yourself to the storm. Give yourself to Poseidon. A leap of faith you never yet made. That's the only way home. Throughout the movie, Odysseus doesn't accept the gods. And I don't think he's an atheist in the sense that he doesn't believe in the gods and that he doesn't think they exist. He just doesn't believe in the gods. He constantly says, your gods. He says, we can't live by sacrifices and omens. Away with your nonsense. When his men say, you got to take Circe out, he said, no. Well, she has magical powers. Odysseus says that your gods gave her. But the movie also conveys this idea that religion and Zeus's law is manipulated in ways that are damaging to society. You have false priests in the temple killing. You have people using Xenia, the hospitality of Zeus, the law of Zeus in the movie, to murder. Odysseus is broken about the state of society and his participation in it, and he's skeptical of all of it. I was bothered the fact that he sees the war fought not over Helen, but as a guise for Agamemnon's power. I think in antiquity it was fought for Helen. Call me what you want, that's what I think. And I thought, why does he think it's just a guise for power? He's just another modernist. That's how Odysseus, this cynical, skeptical man, saw it. Because it was that way for Agamemnon in this movie. Telemachus sees anyone who's kind or well-natured, and he says, "You have Athena's eyes. You have the goddess's eyes." He tells that to his father, disguised as a beggar, and he says, "Don't look for gods in men." And it's not until the climax of the film that he comes to terms with the gods and their connection to humanity. The sacred bonds of humanity must be restored. And he sees the face of God in the face of humans, what Christians used to call the imago Dei, or the image of God in us. Circe says, "You're breaking Xenia." She tells Odysseus this. "You're breaking Zeus's law. You brought a dagger into my home." And he says, "You've got a keen eye given to me by the gods." At the end of the movie, Antinous, the suitor, brings a dagger into Penelope's home. Society is collapsing in Troy. It's burned to the ground in Troy, but the social rot is also in Greece, in Ithaca. Odysseus says, "The last thing I remember is the harsh hand of Zeus." He almost has a Ivan Dostoevsky type view, atheist view of the gods, as though he thinks they might exist, but he doesn't care for it. He doesn't care for them. They're unjust to him. He wasn't concerned that he'd offended Poseidon. His men were concerned that he'd offended Poseidon. It's not till the end of the movie he comes to terms with this. I wondered if the gods were absent from this movie. No, they're everywhere. The signs are all around him. The son of Poseidon, Circe's magic. The gods are everywhere. Poseidon lets them off the island, the Helios' island, just to be lured to the sea to face wrath. I think Odysseus is aware of this. And then in the faces of everyone around him, the image of God. In the end of the movie, when he's exercising wrath, all the wrath upon these ridiculous thugs, these malformed, unvirtuous sluggards, it's in a red room. The only time I saw red really like this was when the one moment of the wine-dark sea, when Zeus's wrath raged upon Odysseus's men. And then in the end, in the red room, he slaughters the suitors, and you hear loud, undeniable thunder. The gods are there. But Odysseus couldn't quite come to terms with it. He looks at Calypso. "Are you a god?" he says. The faithful servant was literally willing to die for this. He understood that society needed this Zeus's law to continue to exist. Case in point, he's tending the sheep. These men come up to him and he says, "I can't sell you the sheep. They're not mine to sell, but I can offer you a meal per Zeus's law." They nearly kill him, and they kill his dogs. Immediately after that, he almost dies, and he's burning the bodies of his dogs. Odysseus comes up disguised as a beggar. And the man says, "Can I offer you a meal?" This man is willing to die for hospitality, for Zeus's law, because he knows society needs it. That stuck out to me this time. The movie is dark and almost miserable, but I think that's because of the state of society now. It's only at the end, when society is restored, Penelope's finally happy, smiling. She goes off on a journey with Odysseus, and they're wearing clothes with color. The sun is literally shining. Odysseus, or Telemachus, in his tacky postmodern costume, has gold shining. It's all very symbolic. But when I walked out of the theater this time, people were walking out with us, and they were saying, "A man, a trick, a war. I gotta go read the Odyssey." And I think, wow. It has people on the left defending the Odyssey, historic Western foundational text of civilization and culture, and people going to read the book. That's the ultimate twist. I think all the jarring imagery, music, the lack of eloquence in the bard, he's speaking in sentence fragments, impressionist imagery, a war, a man, a trick. Because we don't speak like that now. We don't read like that now. We live in postmodernity. And Odysseus' nostos, his coming home, his homecoming, is spiritual. Interestingly enough, Ben Shapiro loves the movie. I don't politely think he fully understands the Odyssey. And Emily Wilson, supposedly the feminist translator who translated this modern translation that Nolan is supposedly influenced by, apparently she did not like the movie. I can see why, because it doesn't really have the same weight of feminist tropes that she probably would have preferred. It's using feminist language to say something else. And I think she picked up on that. It's interesting to me. It's not set in ancient Greece. It's jarring. It's in modern dialect with no Greeks. The arbitrary diversity with no Greeks is offensive to some Greek people, understandably so. And I see why people are just sick of being beat over the head with using diversity as a political bludgeoning tool rather than authentic diversity. There's so much diversity on Odysseus' boat. Like, it doesn't even make sense. A Chinese guy, a Hindu guy, I think, forgive me if I'm getting the ethnicities wrong, a dude from Boston, like more ethnicities, diversity than is really possible. And yet, I think the movie is using the iconography, the imagery, the sights, the sounds, the talk of postmodernity, which is dreary. It's questioning a narrative. It's skeptical. It rejects everything, which is understandable. And it takes a postmodern Odysseus and what seems to be a Frankensteining of imagery, like a modern Prometheus, if you will, a postmodern Prometheus, this Frankenstein imagery with the basic framework of Homer, but is saying something different. I think it's saying that the way home is through remembering the gods, if you will, through what is sacred between us, the image of God in us. At the beginning of the movie, the Greeks literally wear black and the Trojans wear white. Literally such a basic thing where the Trojans are clearly, in a sense, the good guys, and it was the Greeks in this telling that had done wrong. Civilization paid for it, and the way home is through a leap of faith. Rather than desecrating the gods and beauty in the face of humans we can't possess, we treat them with the humanity that God created them with. With that in mind, I hope you know you matter. Your life matters. You love me, hate me, disagree with what I'm saying, think I'm reading too much into it, think I've lost my mind. I hope you know you matter. God loves you. People love you. Live your life to its fullest. Don't check out early. Thanks for watching. God bless.